Algeria is a country located in northern Africa bordering the Mediterranean Sea. It is considered the gateway between Africa and Europe. Neighboring countries include Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Nigeria, Tunisia, and Western Sahara. Algeria is mostly desert with a few mountains and a narrow coastal plain. The government system is a republic. The chief of state and head of government is the president. Algeria has a mixed economic system which includes a variety of private freedom, combined with centralized economic planning and government regulation. Algeria is a member of the League of Arab States, Arab League. Geography and climate. Algeria consists of 3 main geographical zones, each with its own climate. In the north, the Mediterranean Sea dominates the fertile coastal plains that extend up to the Atlas Mountains. On the other side of the Atlas, the high plains, Hautes Plateaus, form a semi-arid zone. The largest part, about 80%, of the country consists of the Sahara Desert. The Mediterranean coast in the north is rocky, with scattered sand beaches. Many bays are formed where the mountains reach the sea. Conquering armies, such as those of Carthage and Rome in ancient times and the Turks much later, were attracted by the bays, because they could serve as natural harbors for their merchant and war fleets. Other invaders soon discovered the enormous agricultural potential of the coastal plains. For the Romans, the cultivation of grain in these fertile areas made Algeria the breadbasket of the empire. During French rule, the country became a major supplier of wine and of fruits such as oranges. As the home of most Algerians up to the present, the coastal plains include the big cities and the major industrial centers that were created by independent Algeria. The climate in the north is typically Mediterranean. Summers are generally hot, and winters are moderate but can be very rainy. This has obliged the country to make substantial investments in water management. The northern cities have long suffered from shortages of drinking water during the summer. Through the use of artificial lakes, the improvement of water pipelines, and the construction of desalination plants, the situation has improved recently. In winter, the abundance of rain often causes problems in urban areas, where infrastructure has been neglected. The Atlas Mountains are never far from the coastal plains, and the rocks seem, in some places, to plunge right into sea. Stretching from east to west, the mountain range forms a natural barrier between the coastal plains and the interior. Throughout history, the Atlas has allowed rural communities in mountain valleys and in remote desert and plain regions to live isolated from the rest of the country. With summits, such as that of the famous Gergeram Mountain in the Kabylia region, over 2,000 meters, the Atlas Range can accumulate deep snow in winter. In contrast, the high plains that extend south of the Atlas get far less rain. Winters can be cold, and summers are hot. The plains consist of grasslands and small bushes that traditionally provided pasturage for sheep and goats. In earlier times, the long grass was also used in basket making. Given these limited economic possibilities, many inhabitants of the plains have moved to the cities and towns, which have grown considerably as a result of this migration. The water supplies in the plains area are concentrated in natural reservoirs. These shots are marshes, often salty, in low-lying areas. Further south, the high plains are delimited by the Anti-Dash, or Saharan, Atlas, which are not as high as the more northern Atlas Range. 4/5 of the country lies in the Sahara Desert. The Sahara is very hot in summer, with temperatures that can reach more than 50 C. In winter, daytime temperatures are comfortable, but night can be freezing cold, because much of the heat originating from solar radiation during the day can escape the surface through the cloudless nighttime sky. The driest parts of the Sahara can remain rainless for years, but unpredictable rains sometimes fall in torrents that can have a devastating impact. The desert city of Gardia, for example, experienced large floods in October 2008. The desert may appear harsh and unwelcoming at first sight, but it contains many treasures. There are the underground riches of oil and natural gas that have shaped the course of Algerian history since independence. In addition, precious metals are found in the remote corners of the desert. The surface of the desert has several remarkable features. Far from being a uniform mass of sand, the Algerian Sahara offers a varied landscape of mountain ranges, sand dunes, rocky plateaus, and oases filled with thousands of palm trees. Underground water resources made possible permanent settlement of communities in oasis towns. Loued, called the Town of 1,000 Domes, and Biskra, in northeastern Algeria, are major date-producing regions. In the west, the string of oasis towns in the Tut region have been important staging posts for the trans-Saharan trade for hundreds of years. The central area of the Mzab Valley, with its main town, Gardia, has historically been home to the Abadi religious minority, constituting a successful trading community. Millions of years ago, the Sahara was part of a sea. Once the water receded, the processes of erosion by wind and water, a few thousand years ago, it had a climate characterized by abundant rainfall, created the most remarkably shaped rocks and mountains, especially notable in the Hagar and Tassili Eniger regions, which are, for that reason, major tourist destinations for travelers to Algeria. Rock carvings dating back about 7,000 years have been discovered in the Tassili Eniger. The variety of animals shown in these pictures is a good indication of the very different climate prevailing then. The Tassili Eniger, plain of rivers, still contains much groundwater, held in the sandstone that predominates there. A geological feature that has occasionally affected the country severely is the location of northern Algeria in the zone where the African and European tectonic plates meet, resulting in a high risk of earthquakes. The most populated areas in the coastal plains lie on the edge of this zone. Some places are extremely prone to disaster, such as the city that was known as Orleansville in colonial times. After it was destroyed by an earthquake in 1954, it was rebuilt after the War of Independence and renamed Al Asnam, but suffered the same fate in 1980, leaving thousands dead. After that disaster, it was rebuilt and renamed Clef. In 2003, a major earthquake hit the region of Boumerdz, close to the capital, where 1,000 people lost their lives and buildings were destroyed. A brief history of Algeria. Early Algeria. In 150 BC, Berber kingdoms existed in what is now Algeria. However, in 24 BC they were annexed by the Romans. The Romans built roads, cities, and aqueducts. Under the Romans, Algeria became Christian. The famous theologian Augustine, 354–430, lived in Hippo, present-day Annaba. As the Roman Empire in the west collapsed, a people called the Vandals passed through Algeria on their way to Tunisia but had little effect on the area. In the late 7th century, the Arabs conquered Algeria. They introduced Islam. The Arabs ruled Algeria until the 16th century. In 1516, the Ottoman Turks took over the region. However, by 1671, Algeria was semi-independent. It was ruled by a man called the Dey. Algeria also served as a base for the Barbary pirates. However, in 1830 the French invaded Algeria. They gradually conquered the region, and in 1848 Algeria was declared to be French territory. Modern Algeria. However, Algerian nationalism grew in the mid-20th century. The Algerian War of Independence began in 1954. It went on until 1962. President Charles de Gaulle eventually accepted that Algerian independence was inevitable. A ceasefire was signed on March 18, 1962. In a referendum, the people voted overwhelmingly for independence. On July 5, 1962, Algeria became independent. Ahmed Ben Bella became the first president. However, he was overthrown in 1965. He was replaced by Colonel Houari Boumediene, who died in 1978. He, in turn, was replaced by Colonel Chadli Benjedid. Algeria was a one-party state, but riots in 1988 led to some reforms. In 1989, Algerians were given the right to form other parties. In local elections in 1990, the fundamentalist Front Islamique du Salat, Islamic Salvation Front or FIS, won a majority of the votes cast. They also won the first round of national legislative elections in 1991. However, the army intervened and the second round of elections was cancelled. Benjedid was replaced by a 5-man Council of State. There was then a long civil war in Algeria. The armed wing of the FIS, the Islamic Salvation Army, disbanded in 200. Abdelaziz Bouteflika was elected president in 1999. He was re-elected in 2004, 2009, and 2014. Today Algeria suffers from high unemployment and the economy is heavily dependent on oil. Nevertheless, the economy is growing steadily. In 2020 the population of Algeria was 43 million. Culture in Algeria, tradition, and people. Algeria's culture is strongly influenced by the country's recent history, as well as other aspects such as their literature, music, arts, crafts, and religion. Arabic is Algeria's primary language and is spoken by around 82% of the populace. The French colonialism experienced by the country in the past has resulted in French being the second language of many educated Algerians, and English is very rarely spoken. Many people of Algeria also speak different dialects of Berber. The culture of most countries is also influenced by its past, and this is certainly true of Algeria. There are also many ethnic groups in the country that contribute to its diverse and fascinating culture. Islam is the official religion of Algeria, and the majority of Algerians are Muslims. Since the departure of the French, Christianity is a secondary religion. Approximately 1% of Algeria's population is Jewish. Algerian literature is split between French and Arabic, and the country has produced a number of famous novelists, Mohammed Dib, Kateb Yassin and Asha Jeber, during the 20th century. Asha Jeber's works are widely translated. The musical genre of Algeria that is best known abroad is Rai. Rai is a pop-flavored, opinionated take on folk music, featuring stars such as Khaled and Cheb Mami. Chabi-style music also remains very popular, with stars such as El Hajj El Anka and Domini El Harachi making their mark on the local music scene. For those with a more classical taste in music, Andalusi music, brought from Al-Andalus by Morisco refugees, is preserved in many older coastal towns. Algeria has a thriving handicrafts industry. Part of the charm of the country is the richness of its production. From carpets to ceramics, from leather to lute making, from pottery to glass working to silverwork, the country has a tremendous variety of skills that produce goods which are sold in many other countries as well as to visiting tourists, all. Algerian cuisine, food. Algerian cuisine has had many influences that have contributed something unique to the country's culinary delights. Over hundreds of years the Berbers, Arabs, Turks, Romans, the French and the Spanish have influenced the cuisine of Algeria. Each of these civilizations has helped to ensure that Algeria's cuisine is an eclectic mix of flavors, aromas and textures, served in a multitude of ways and very pleasing to the palate. The Berber influence on Algerian cuisine is clearly seen in their use of stews, lamb, vegetables, grains and dried fruits. The Turks and Arabs have added spice to the mix as well as a variety of delicious pastries. French cuisine has contributed greatly to Algerian dishes with the use of tomato puree as well as in their aperitifs and sweets. You will be able to taste the distinct flavors of cumin, caraway, marjoram, coriander and fennel in Algerian cuisine. Typically, lamb and chicken are used in meals as well as fish from the Mediterranean. Algeria's national dish is couscous, which is steamed and then served with meat, vegetables and sauce. Coffee is popular in Algeria, but is served extremely strong along with a glass of water. However, the preferred drink in Algeria is tea with a hint of fresh mint. Fruit drinks are also commonly enjoyed. Main meals: mechoui, charcoal roasted lamb merquet, spicy lamb sausages korba, spicy lamb or chicken stew with vegetables dolma, stuffed vegetables harira, soup served at Ramadan lubia bidersa, white bean stew badenjol, roasted aubergine salad slada. Belle clementinas, onion and orange salad bissar, couscous served with chicken and dried vegetables jage bil kaspour, coriander chicken brochettes, spicy kebabs kefta, meatballs with spices lamb bil zitoun, lamb and olives mdirbal carré. Zucchini stew zaluka, aubergine ratatouille roast bratel, saucy favas kesra, semolina bread harissa, spicy paste, condiment, desserts and pastries. Makraut, with dates or figs brioche, honey pastry kalbelaus, semolina, almond paste and rose water samsa, sweet-filled pastry gribia, sugar cookies refies tamar, date candies. Interesting facts about Algeria. 1. Almost 90% of this country is covered by the Sahara Desert. So people inhabit only 12% of the total land. 2. This country can get really hot. In 2011, the town of Sulla recorded a temperature of 50.8 C. 3. Unlike in most Islamic nations, women's status and position in Algeria is much better. Women make up 60% of Algeria's judges, 70% of the lawyers, and 60% of the student population. They have a bigger household income contribution than men. 4. You won't find alcohol very easily in Algeria. Restaurants don't usually sell alcohol, and out of the few who do, some don't have it listed on their menus. 5. Algerians drink tea throughout the day. There are many tea rooms and tea shops in Algeria, so I guess Indians would feel at home here. If you visit an Algerian home, they will offer you dates and tea. Etsai, the mint tea is the most popular gift in Algeria. 6. Algeria is a debt-free country. It doesn't owe any money to any country. You'd think that is impressive. At the same time, it is a poor country, with 1 in every 4 people living under $1 per day. 7. A few years back a man went to buy a donkey. As he and the seller kept bargaining for long, the donkey ate up the stack of notes that the man was going to buy him with. Since the donkey ate up all the money, there was a bitter dispute about who owned him now, and the matter went from lower courts, up till the Supreme Court. 8. Loued is the best city to shop. The name translates into City of 1,000 Domes, as most of the shops and buildings have dome roofs to protect people from the intense heat during the summer. You can buy carpets, traditional slippers, clothes here, but know that this is the place to bargain, and bargain hard. 9. Algeria has participated in every Olympics since 1964. They have won 5 gold medals in this period, out of which 4 came for the 1500 meters race, 2 won by men, 2 won by women. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe channel.